This is my review of the Mobile Suit in Action Blast Impulse Gundam. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging first. You also get a black and white instruction sheet. And you get this collection datasheet card. The head is on a ball joint. Shoulders can go around. Arms can go out to the side. Swivel just above the elbow. 2 points of articulation at the elbow for a nice bend. The hands, of course, are attached via ball joints. You do have a bit of waist articulation. The legs can go forward, back just a little bit, out to the side. 2 points of articulation at the knee. Really nice. The ankle armor articulates separately from the actual ankle. And you do have, of course, ankle articulation. For accessories, you do get 2 pairs of extra hands. 1 pair to hold the handles for the beam cannons, and another pair to hold the handles for the beam javelins. On both sides of the action figure, you do have this compartment, and it does open up, revealing the armor-piercing daggers. And here is a look at the armor-piercing dagger fully extended. And I recommend you keep these inside of the compartments on the side of the action figure, because these are incredibly small. You do also get these 2 beam handles, as well as the effect parts. And once you swap out the hands and put on the beam effect parts, this is the type of effect you can get. In addition to these 2 beam handles, you do get this longer extended beam javelin. You plug in the effect parts on either end. Now, it does take work to get the beam javelin into both of the figure's hands, but once you do, and once you plug in the effect parts on either end, you do get a nice looking weapon. Now, the shield does have a handle, and of course the handle goes into the hand of the figure, and you do have a tab right there, which matches up with a slot on either forearm. So it plugs into the side of the forearm. The shield does convert. You want to untab this part, and you can see there is a second set of slots. You just tab into the second set of slots and do the same thing, of course, with the bottom half of the shield for this kind of effect. You also get the silhouette flyer. And this silhouette flyer does combine with the backpack, and what is really cool is you get a fully transforming core fighter. which as you can see is pretty cool. And you can see here you have the backpack. Now, the way it attaches to the actual figure, there are these two tabs here and here, which correspond to slots here and there. But before we do that, just take a closer look at it here. Now, it does have parts that are removable. These come out, and they come out really, really easy. In fact, I was looking for some super glue to super glue these in, because there really is no reason for these to basically detach from the backpack, other than the fact that Bandai wanted to be able to package these so that they were actually separate. But they come out really easily, which is unfortunate. So once I find some super glue, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to super glue these fins into the actual backpack. Now, the backpack does have a integrated weapon system. You can see here, this piece here rotates down and basically will sit over the shoulders once it's mounted onto the actual Gundam. But you have these rail cannons, which are pretty cool. And the fact that they're integrated into the fins here are also a nice touch. You'll notice also you have this mechanism here. It rotates a full 360. It has a ball joint at the end, and the ball joint will attach to the actual beam cannons. So here is the figure with the backpack attached. Now, one thing of note, make sure you use enough force to get the backpack solidly attached to the actual figure, because eventually you're going to have the weight of the beam cannons on this backpack as well. So just make sure you get a nice solid connection. It does take a little bit of force, so don't be afraid to use some force to get the backpack securely attached to the actual mobile suit figure. And what would the Blast Impulse Gundam be without its two beam cannons? And these are very nice weapons. It does actually include some features. For one thing, you can actually reveal that there is a handle on each of these beam cannons, which of course can be placed in the hands of the actual figure. And this compartment here does open up, and what you're supposed to be able to do is put the actual handle for the beam javelin in this compartment, and it should close up. So you do have nice storage capabilities this way. I'm not sure if the feature of storing the beam javelin handle in the compartment here is actually a function of the mobile suit in the actual anime. If someone knows, please let me know if the actual anime shows the Gundam getting the handles for the beam javelins in this compartment here. Now, this beam cannon is not only a beam cannon, but if you look at the other end here, you do have a missile pod. So depending on how you display your figure, you can either have the missile pod displayed, or you can have the actual beam cannon. So it took a ridiculous amount of time off camera to get the figure to hold the beam cannons the way they are. And if you take a look at the way the hands are placed, they do grip the handles that come out of the beam cannons. But it took me probably about 15 minutes of off-camera work just to get those darn hands to attach and hold on to the grips like they are now. But the effect is pretty cool. And don't forget, for the full effect, make sure you rotate down the rail cannons for the full burst mode, or what I would call the Blast Impulse Gundam's full burst mode. So remember, you can combine the Silhouette Flyer with the backpack, and that becomes the Blast Silhouette Flyer. And this is really cool because you can recreate the scene where the Blast Silhouette Flyer flies out to the Gundam Mobile Suit and combines to form the weapons pack for the Blast Impulse Gundam. So final thoughts on the Mobile Suit in Action Blast Impulse Gundam. I really like this Mobile Suit in Action figure. It's a very nice figure. I got it off of eBay from a seller in China for $18 US shipped. So I was really happy with that price, and I'm really happy with the figure itself. It's got tons of playability, tons of accessories, really good articulation, and it's definitely a recommended figure. Now, some people may not like the scale that this particular figure is in, but I kind of like both model kits and action figures, and this is a really nice action figure. The only thing I would really change about it is the way that the fins here are attached on the actual backpack. And like I said before, what I'm probably going to do is super glue those on, or at least super glue them on so that there's more friction in that little slot so the fins don't fall off as easily as they do. Other than that, I really can't complain too much about this particular action figure. Alright, well, thanks for watching. This has been my review of the Mobile Suit in Action Blast Impulse Gundam.